Hello everyone, hope you are doing well and welcome back to our Windows Server 2022 beginners video series on MSFT webcast. In this video, we will see the steps on how to raise the functional level of your Active Directory domain and forest. Active Directory functional levels help to determine the features that are available for the domain or forest. The domain functional labels define the features of Active Directory domain services that can be used by the domain controller. The forest functional labels, on the other hand, can be used to determine the Active Directory domain services features that are available in a forest. In the last video, we saw the steps to find the current domain and forest functional labels in an Active Directory domain. There are several reasons why you might want to raise the forest functional label. First, to gain access to new features and functionality, raising the forest functional label gives you access to the latest features and functionality that ADDS has to offer. Second, to improve security and compliance. Raising the forest functional label can help you to improve your security posture and meet compliance requirements. Third, to support new applications and services. Some applications and services require a specific forest functional label in order to run properly. There are few things you need to consider before raising the forest functional label. All DCs in the forest must be running the same Windows Server version as the forest functional label you intend to have or hire. You must ensure that Replication is working properly in your forest. You must verify that all your organization's enterprise applications and services are compatible with the forest functional label you intend to have. You need to raise the forest functional label of your Active Directory environment, but you are not sure whether to raise the domain functional label first or the forest functional label first. The general rule of thumb is to raise the domain functional label first and then the forest functional label. This is because raising the domain functional label will make the domain compatible with the new forest functional label. However, there are some exceptions to this rule. The domain functional label must always be chosen to be at the same or higher level than the forest functional label. By default, whenever a new domain is added to the forest, it takes the same label as that of the forest functional label. A domain within a forest is allowed to operate at a functional label which is higher than the functional label of the forest, but can never operate at a lower functional label. For instance, if the forest functional label is set to Windows Server 2012 R2, then the domain functional label can only be set to Windows Server 2012 R2 or higher. It cannot be set to earlier version such as Windows Server 2008 or Windows Server 2003. When there are several domain controllers within the domain that use different versions of the Windows Server operating system, the functional label is limited to the features provided by the earliest version. For instance, if there are domain controllers running on Windows Server 2008 and Windows Server 2012, only the features provided by Windows Server 2008 are available within the domain. This is to ensure that all the domain controllers within the domain are able to support the same feature. Before raising the functional label of a domain, few prerequisites have to be fulfilled. First, the minimum requirement is a membership in the domain admins or enterprise admins group or an equivalent. All the domain controllers in the domain must run a version of the operating system that is compatible with the new functional label. Check and ensure that AD Replication is working properly in your domain and forest. You can check the Active Directory replication health using the RepAdmin tool or with Windows PowerShell. Once these requirements are met, the functional label of a domain can be raised. For this demo, we have single domain Active Directory forest named msftwebcast.com with two Windows Server 2022 domain controllers. Already, I have checked all the prerequisites. Using GUI tools and Windows PowerShell, we can raise domain or forest functional labels. In this video, we will use GUI tools only. I'll create a short video on how to raise AD domain and forest functional labels using Windows PowerShell. Link to that video will be available in the description area. Right-click on Start menu and select Windows PowerShell. Type command repadmin/REPL summary and press Enter key to check replication summary. As we can see, no error, no failure in replication summary information. Type command repadmin/show_REPL and press Enter key. From the output of both commands, we can confirm that replication between both domain controllers is successful. Let me clear the screen. We can also run cmdelete get-ad replication failure -target msfpwebcast.com-scope domain to get information about the domain-wide replication failures. If you run the cmdelete and you will receive no outputs, that means no domain-wide replication failures for msfpwebcast.com domain. Type cmdelete get-ad replication failure -target msfpwebcast.com-scope forest to get information about the forest-wide replication failures. Again, no output. That means we don't have any forest-wide replication failures for msfpwebcast.com Active Directory forest. Before we raise the functional label of an Active Directory forest, we will first upgrade the functional label of all the domains in the forest. Open Server Manager, click on Tools and select Active Directory Domains and Trust. Right-click the msfpwebcast.com domain and select Raise Domain Functional Label. As we can see, the current domain functional label is Windows Server 2012 R2. We have the option to raise the domain functional label up to Windows Server 2016, which is the most recent version. Select the functional label Windows Server 2016 and click the Raise button. On warning window, click OK to proceed. We will receive a confirmation that the functional label was raised successfully. The change will replicate to each domain controller in the domain. The amount of time this takes will depend on your application topology. Click OK. Since we have both domain controllers in the same Active Directory site, the replication will be done instantly. In production environment, you have to wait for replication process to complete. If you have multiple domains in your forest, use the same steps for each domain to raise the functional label for all of them. Once you have done this, you will be able to raise the forest functional label. Right-click the Active Directory Domains and Trust and select Raise Forest Functional Label. As we can see, the current forest functional label is Windows Server 2012 R2. We have the option to raise the functional label up to Windows Server 2016. Click on Raise. On warning window, click OK to proceed. We will receive a confirmation that the functional label was raised successfully. The change will replicate to each domain controller in the forest. The amount of time this takes will depend on your application topology. Click OK. Now, let's again right-click on msfpwebcast.com and select Properties. On General tab, check the current domain and forest functional label. It should be set to Windows Server 2016. The process was quick as we have single domain Active Directory forest in our test environment and our both domain controllers are in the same Active Directory site. When the functional label of the domain is upgraded, the password for the KRB-TGT system account is automatically changed. If you have on-premises Exchange server in your domain, this may cause it to stop due to the authentication issues. After updating the domain functional label, you must restart Kerberos Key Distribution Center service on all domain controllers. I could have made this video shorter, but I also want to cover the basics. That's all for this video on how to raise Active Directory domain and forest functional label using GUI tool. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions and suggestions regarding this video, Please let me know in the comments section. Thank you all for watching this video. Have a nice day.